from Timber Ridge Ski Patrol, and I am going to show you how to do a patient pickup on the snowboard, and I would like to demo this technique that makes it very easy to do without taking your board off. And so the first thing I'm going to do is approach the patient on my heel side and ask permission to treat and to pick up, and then I will immediately switch to my toe side because I want to get around the downhill side of the toboggan to lock the downhill handle. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and we'll go forward, okay? All right, here I go. I'm going to go. Around the bottom side, the downhill side of the handle. I'm going to lock the handle, the downhill handle. I'm going to pivot the toboggan below my patient. Sliding the toboggan below my patient, and now I could easily lock the second handle in preparation for loading. Put my cane down because it's a little icy today. Okay, talk to my patient. My tail rope operator. And we can load my injury uphill. Now I am in position to bring the handles to me. I do not need to go out and around the handles. It's safe.
Check that behind your head, how this is attached.
It's safer to bring the handles to you. So I'm going to show you also how to do a fall line descent using both toe side and heel side on the snowboard, and I'm going to do a box turn where I'll be traversing the hill both toe side and heel side to show you the versatility of a snowboard and the options that you have on both toe and heel side. Okay? So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to bring the handles to me so I can get in the handles. Side slipping down a little bit. I'm going to first of all ask my tail rope operator, are you ready? Yes. Patient ready? Okay. Here we go. I drop the handles to me. Now I'm putting a little pressure on the handles to gain control. All right. That demo was completed on a blue run, and you can do that procedure on a black run, a green run. You can, once you master your toe side, you can use your toe side as effectively as your heel side. The most important thing is to make sure you get your transitions down crisply. Like, you have to have your pivot turns done, you know, very, very crisp, so that's the most critical thing. Okay?
Hi, my name is Chris Liebau. Welcome to my living room and my indoor mogul field I've constructed here for talk about navigating the toboggan through the bumps. Okay, we're back. We've got our mogul field. We have a toboggan that we've built here. We have just kind of artistic representation. We have the fins here on the bottom represented in some black marks here. We have got handles, and we've got a little chain break in here just kind of for demonstration purposes. So the objective here is that when we're taking the toboggan through moguls is we're guiding its descent just like we are when we have it on any other steep, flat, whatever terrain. It's really more guiding it and helping into control. I'm not going to say that this isn't work taking it through the bumps. It is, but if you do it efficiently, it can be less work. So we want to guide, like I said, we want to kind of guide this descent down through the bumps. And so one of the key things that we have here is that we want to take the center of mass of this through the troughs. So it's not about us up in front going down through and skiing the bumps. You know, we can get through the bumps, but we've got to get this through the bumps too. And so what we want to focus on is making sure that we guide, is that we guide this center of mass through here. There's still going to be a little bit of rock and turn in through here, but we're not going up and over, because you can see what happens with the chain break. As soon as we get caught up on something here, sometimes if you've done this before, you're stuck down here and you're pulling and you're pulling and you're on top of the bump, and it's really inefficient, and it's also a rough ride for the person that's in it, and we have less control. So we want to really focus on not moving the front of the toboggan through these troughs, but the center of mass. And that's because the center of mass is further back in this area where the fins are. And so kind of jumping ahead here, you know, kind of think of it like driving a semi. We've all sat there looking ahead, and we're in the left turn lane, and there's a semi that's coming this way, and they're going to turn right, okay? And they're trying really hard not to get those back wheels up on that curb. And it may or may not happen for them, because they're trying to avoid hitting you who's parked in the left lane here to turn left. So they're trying to avoid you. So that analogy, this turns kind of wide like a semi, other than they can go up over the curb. We don't want to go up over the curb, because the curb to us is like trying to fight these fins up the side of this bump. So what happens if we focus just on the front of this, moving through, if we're coming down and we come here, and as soon as we have a clearing here, people start trying to turn this. But if you look, you know, now I'm trying to push this up the side of this bump, and it's not gonna come around. What we need to do is allow this to come further forward to clear some of that bump, maybe even up onto this next bump a little bit, and then turn and go down through here. So the semi doesn't want to hit the person in the left turn lane. Okay, well, in mogul land, this is that car, and it's okay if we touch it. We're not trying to avoid it. It's not a bad thing for this to kind of go up on that bump. We don't want to slam it into that bump, but we can kind of give it a kiss and kind of come up and rise up a little bit on there, okay? And that allows us to more gently, it drops some of the resistance in the sled and allows us to more easily redirect it into this next position, okay? So talk about kind of like driving that semi. We need to take those wide turns and get it past the mogul before we try to change direction of the toboggan. And we can use this bump. So again, the other part of this too is we can use the terrain to help control the speed. And so this can kind of serve as a little bit of a speed check, in a way, okay? Because now we have an upward motion of the toboggan. We've got a chain brake, all that kind of stuff. So this is an opportunity for a little bit of a speed check and a redirect down here. So it does create a little bit of rise here in the toboggan, but we're not doing this all over the place, okay? So kind of coming back here, we talked about the center of mass. By moving the center of mass through here, it does give a little bit smoother ride for the person that's on the toboggan, rather than trying to ride them up this one and come over here and then ride them up this one and come around that way, the way that somebody might ski it. If you tried it before, you know how exhausting that can be. You can tank yourself in just one run, really trying to fight the terrain. So use it to your advantage. And then the consistent speed part here too, what we want to manage is, you know, objects in motion remain in motion. And so having a smoother, more consistent speed is going to help you overcome some of those different variations in terrain that can slow us down and hang us up. The other thing I wanted to point out too here is, you'll notice as we come through here is that we may have some, what I'm calling dynamic tracer height, right? And then we come down here, see how low this is to this bump? Okay, and then we're rising up again and coming around. And that's not a bad thing, but we have to be prepared for that when we're out there, because we feel like we're not in control when those handles rise and fall relative to the ground. That's a natural thing, and so we have to embrace that and allow that to happen and be prepared for it in order to maneuver the sled effectively. Okay? All right, thanks. Hi, my name is Chris Liebau. Welcome to my living room and my indoor mogul field I've constructed here for talk about navigating the toboggan through the bumps. So in one of my last videos, I talked about the dynamic handles and how when the relationship of the handles in the bumps and how it's going to change with the distance. Since then, I have to have come across this lovely hand model here. And one of the other things we talk about is the body position. So we talked about how to move the toboggan through the bumps, but what's happening with us, what's going on with us is very different than what's happening with the toboggan. And that can lead to us feeling like we don't have control of it. But again, understanding what we need to do in order to successfully navigate the toboggan. So one of the things is when we have the toboggan in the bumps, we are outside of the handles. We're not in the middle, okay? And so with that, you're going to play with it and figure out which side is your strong side, which side of the toboggan you feel better with, what downhill leg is stronger, okay? And part of that, as we move the toboggan through the moguls, is that you will drop your tails down the hill this way. See how this moves through here and you're coming up? So there's a lot of dynamic movement in here. These handles are particularly low for this particular person, so excuse the scale difference. But as this comes through the middle like we want it to, this person has their tails dropped and is kind of side slipping backward through here. And when we change the direction of the toboggan here, once we've cleared, again, once the center of mass is cleared around this bump, now we turn to more of a push type of a thing. And so we're guiding it kind of laterally from side to side. We're guiding that descent. So to do this, we're going to have to point our tips down the hill, right, with that, and kind of push and rise over that bump and let that come down. And then when we kind of kiss this bump here and these come up, now we drop our tails and guide the toboggan down here through. And again, up here, okay, get a little bit of an up. We've cleared, our toboggan has cleared this bump, and now we're able to push forward, change our tips down the hill, leading with our tips and going through here, okay? Again, bump, here, change direction, tails drop. So it's a little bit of a dance. There's a little bit of a rhythm that gets established, just like any other bump type of stuff. So without a whole lot of talking, I'm going to go through and just walk through that sequence that I just showed. Tails dropped, tips leading, change direction, tails drop, change direction, tips leading, change direction, tails drop.
All right, so just like we talked about in the last video, we don't want to be inside of the handles when we're doing the mogul toboggan run. We're actually going to be outside. And one of the things that you want to do is you want to position yourself further down here because you're going to have a better grip ability and you're not going to be so far out here. Remember how we talked about there's a dynamic handle height. If you're way out here and the handle's way up here, you're not going to be able to reach it. So you're going to have slightly less dynamic body movement the closer you are up to the nose of the toboggan. So through your different runs, you'll find out which side is stronger, if you like having your right leg downhill or your left leg downhill. All right, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a demo here, something that you can practice at home if you don't have moguls, or if you do, just getting used to how your tips and your tails are going to be used to move the toboggan back and forth downhill.
Hi, this is Chris Liebau, and this is the behind-the-scenes footage of the making of the mogul field in my dining room. I use some ordinary items like alligator clips to hold some of the sheets in place. I've got this nice jersey knit fabric that's flexible here. I've got this built on a nice card table, skinny card table, just sort of propped up on one end. And I had some other ordinary household items just sort of laying around that weren't really in use, that had some features that were just the right size. Stay safe on the slopes.